Imagine spending 4 years and, I don't know, maybe $100,000 building this magnificent, highly intricate ship in a dry dock.
Right? A massive investment of time and money.
Exactly. You spend thousands of hours meticulously sanding the wood, stitching the sails, learning every single nautical knot.
Yeah.
And then right on the day you're finally supposed to launch, the ocean just dries up.
Wow. Just completely gone.
Completely gone. And that is exactly the scenario facing millions of college students right now. So welcome to the deep dive.
Glad to be here for this one. It's a heavy topic.
It really is. Our mission today is to explore this massive impending shift in the global workforce. We're looking at how the entire machinery of higher education is basically scrambling to adapt before it's entirely too late for you, the listener, and everyone else.
Because the ground is shifting underneath the traditional career path at a speed we really haven't witnessed in modern economic history.
No, we haven't. And to understand the sheer scale of this, we are unpacking a really fascinating white paper released today, March 13th, 2026.
Hot off the presses.
Yeah. It's called The Storm is Here. AI Disruption is Here. How Universities Must Evolve to Prepare Students for Survival. It was published by Eon AI Ventures and Eon Reality.
And the title alone kind of sets the tone, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to examine the staggering reality that up to 75% of white-collar tasks are, technically speaking, already automatable.
Which is a terrifying number for a lot of people.
Right. But more importantly, we are going to try and move past the doom and gloom. We want to analyze the specific, actionable life raft that's being proposed for the next generation of workers.
And, understanding that proposed solution really requires us to first strip away the hyperbole. We have to look at the raw mechanics of the crisis.
Yeah, lay the groundwork.
Exactly, because this isn't some distant theoretical future being modeled in a lab somewhere.
Right, it's happening now.
Yeah, the data points to a structural collapse of the entry-level knowledge economy happening in real time.
So let's get right into those numbers, because they hit hard. According to Anthropic research that's cited in this white paper, 75% of white-collar tasks are automatable right now.
Right now.
Yeah. And furthermore, nearly 50% of entry-level white-collar positions could literally disappear within just 5 years.
50%, half the entry-level market.
Half of it. And the industry predictions outlined here, they're warning of near total automation of professional work in a 12 to 18-month window.
That's the part that really catches you off guard.
It's wild. We are talking about historically stable, lucrative sectors. Business, finance, legal, office administration, management consulting.
The safe bets.
The very safe bets. The complex analytical research and reporting tasks that used to be the reliable bread and butter for a recent college grad, they are just being handed over to algorithms.
Yeah, and when you look at that 12 to 18-month timeline for near total automation, I know it initially sounds like the worst-case scenario, like something designed to just grab headlines.
Right. I mean, is that a worst-case scenario, or is that really reflecting reality?
It's reality. It makes perfect sense when you factor in the economics of frictionless deployment.
Okay, unpack that a bit.
So we're dealing with a software revolution, right? Which scales completely differently than anything we've seen in the physical world. If a company wanted to automate an assembly line back in, say, the 1980s...
It had to buy the robots.
Exactly. They had massive capital expenditure. They had to buy land, build a physical factory, manufacture the machine and ship them, install them. That takes years.
Because it's bounded by the limits of the physical world, you can only move steel so fast.
Precisely. But deploying a newly trained large language model that can draft a flawless legal brief or, run a complex financial risk assessment, that requires near zero marginal cost to scale.
It's just a download.
It's a software update. Once the model is trained, pushing it to 10,000 corporate laptops globally happens overnight. You don't build a factory.
That's incredible.
That zero-friction environment is exactly why the 12 to 18-month window is simply the natural speed of software adoption. Corporations are fiercely looking to cut operational costs. AI isn't replacing muscle anymore. It's replacing cognitive labor.
The brain work.
Yeah, the analytical processing tasks that form the absolute foundation of the modern white-collar economy.
It's like a student today spending 4 years meticulously studying to be a human calculator or like a master switchboard operator right as the microchip is being invented.
That's a great way to put it. The timing is just brutal.
It really is. And the macroeconomic threat projected here is a potential 10 to 20% impact on the unemployment rate from AI alone.
Which is recession-level impact.
Easily. So, how are the people directly in the path of this avalanche reacting? The data shows this crisis is already hitting young workers right now.
They're feeling it first.
They are. There is a reported 16% drop in hiring for ages 22 to 25, specifically in AI exposed professions. The entry level on ramp is effectively being pulled up.
And that's because the market is sending a very clear pricing signal. Companies are realizing they no longer need an army of junior analysts to synthesize data for the senior partners.
Because the AI does it.
Right. The AI acts as an infinite pool of junior analysts, meaning that traditional apprenticeship model of the corporate world, where you do the grunt work in your 20s to learn the industry, that's evaporating.
And young people are definitely reading those market signals. The white paper notes that 77% of Gen Z now prioritize automation-resistant career paths.
They see the storm coming.
They really do. But this creates a massive dilemma for traditional universities. Their static degree programs were designed for a job market that is actively being dismantled as we speak.
Actively dismantled, yes.
If you're listening to this right now and you're currently paying tuition for a static degree, honestly, it feels like you're buying a highly detailed map of a city that is currently being bulldozed.
That brings us to the really inconvenient truth facing higher education right now. For decades, universities have relied on a model where the degree itself was the product.
You got the paper, you got the job.
Exactly. That piece of paper held inherent, unquestioned value in the marketplace. It was a proxy for competence. But credentials alone no longer guarantee career security.
Not anymore.
No. If universities cannot prove a direct, clear, and undeniable pathway from skill development to employment in fields that AI cannot replicate, they risk total loss of relevance.
But let me push back a little here, based on the text. Universities have never strictly been just job training factories, right? They teach critical thinking, philosophy, history, the humanities.
Sure, the broader education.
Yeah. Are we really saying that entire four-year collegiate model is totally obsolete just because an AI can parse a legal document faster than a human?
Well, it's a crucial distinction to make. The intrinsic value of learning philosophy or history, that remains completely unchanged.
Okay.
The problem is the economic value proposition. Students, and very often their parents, are taking on massive debt under the implicit promise that this education yields a tangible return on investment.
A secure career.
Exactly. If the specific hard skills bundled into that four-year experience like financial modeling or administrative management are suddenly valued at zero by the labor market, the debt burden becomes completely unsustainable.
Wow. Yeah.
The university might still offer profound intellectual growth, but if it doesn't offer economic survival in this new paradigm, the current tuition model just collapses.
Which means the institutions have to pivot, and they have to do it fast. You can't just yell, the sky is falling without offering an umbrella.
Right. You need a solution.
And the second half of this white paper outlines Eon AI Ventures' proposed solution to this existential crisis. They are introducing a platform called Eon Career Compass.
The life raft.
Exactly. It's designed to help institutions actively navigate their students towards safety.
And this represents a real shift from just diagnosing the problem to attempting a structural intervention. The Career Compass tool essentially acts as a massive triage system for the future workforce.
Yeah, it maps over 9,000 certification programs directly to jobs with low AI exposure. They are actively identifying and targeting these quote-unquote safe fields.
And what are those fields specifically?
The ones explicitly listed here are healthcare, skilled trades, creative industries, teaching, social work, and leadership roles.
Makes sense.
And I want to read a quote from Dan Legiskar, the chairman of Eon AI Ventures. He says, "Our platform is more than just technology. It is a lifeline for educational institutions in the midst of the AI revolution to reclaim their role as catalysts for career futures."
It's a bold claim.
Very bold. But looking closely at that list of safe fields, healthcare, trades, social work, are we essentially saying the only automation-proof future is one that is purely physical, deeply interpersonal, or intensely creative?
In short, yes. That aligns perfectly with the current hard boundaries of AI capabilities.
How so?
Well, an AI can synthesize 1 billion medical journals in a fraction of a second, but it cannot physically insert an IV into a frightened patient's arm. It can write a statistically perfect screenplay, but it lacks the genuine, lived human trauma that makes art actually resonate on a visceral level.
Yeah, the human element.
Exactly. It cannot provide the empathetic nuance required in a deep social work intervention, nor can it turn a wrench in a complex, unpredictable plumbing system. Physicality, genuine human empathy, and true leadership. These are the definitive safe harbors.
The stuff machines just can't do.
Right. These are the moats that code cannot cross.
Okay, so the overarching goal is to migrate students out of the vulnerable spreadsheet and report jobs and into these heavily human, heavily physical environments.
Correct.
But simply identifying where the safe jobs are is only half the battle, right? Like, if I suddenly realize I need to be an emergency medical technician instead of a financial analyst, I still need to learn how to actually do that job.
And traditional textbook learning isn't going to cut it for these physical high-stakes roles.
Not at all. And this is where the white paper details how EON is attempting to change the actual mechanism of learning.
Because the speed of the market transition demands a completely different approach to skill acquisition. You simply cannot use passive theoretical teaching methods to prepare someone for an active, high-stakes physical environment.
So to solve this, they introduce EON Genesis. According to the white paper, this replaces traditional slide and lecture instruction with immersive, hands-on 3D training simulations.
Right, stepping out of the classroom.
Exactly. It's built specifically for fields requiring high-stakes proficiency and human judgment. It immediately brings to mind that scene in The Matrix. Instead of sitting in a lecture hall reading a textbook about how to fly a helicopter, you're put into a 3D simulation to actively build the cognitive muscle memory.
I love that analogy.
It's the difference between reading a 500-page manual on the biomechanics of swimming versus actually jumping into the pool and feeling the water resistance.
And the cognitive science behind that shift is significant. When you engage with immersive XR extended reality, you are activating spatial memory and motor pathways that reading simply doesn't touch.
It wires the brain differently?
Exactly. The sources note Eon's pedigree here, highlighting their 25 years of experience in immersive XR, and they draw a very important distinction regarding accuracy.
Oh, right, the 80% versus 100% thing.
Yeah. Generic AI tools currently deliver about 80% quality. If you're using AI to draft a marketing email or summarize a meeting, 80% accuracy is perfectly acceptable. You fix a few typos and hit send.
But 80% precision in a healthcare setting or a skilled trades environment is an absolute catastrophe.
Yes, you cannot afford an 80% accurate surgical technician or an 80% accurate high-voltage line worker. The stakes are life and death, or at the very least, massive structural damage.
So EON Genesis fixes that.
Yes, it uses these 3D simulations to bridge that gap by allowing a student to perform a dangerous or complex physical task hundreds of times in a zero-risk virtual environment. They guarantee 100% proficiency through actual, repeatable, experiential practice.
Before they ever touch a real patient or power grid.
Exactly. It moves education from knowledge retention to verified physical competence.
That solves the training bottleneck for physical jobs, definitely. But they take it a step further into the business side, which is where I want to apply a little skepticism.
Go for it.
The white paper details an ecosystem designed to bypass the traditional entry-level job hunt entirely. They outline the EON Venture Builder, which equips students with tools to build products and create income streams before graduation.
Right.
And then there's the EON 90-Day Entrepreneur Program. This is designed to accelerate students into market-ready professionals in under 3 months, combining skill certification with entrepreneurship frameworks.
This is a massive shift.
They even provide a global marketplace platform so students can sell products or services immediately. My question is it genuinely realistic to take a 20-year-old student, strip away the 4-year runway, and turn them into a market-ready, revenue-generating entrepreneur in 90 days? That feels like a massive structural leap.
Oh, it is a massive leap, and the execution will undoubtedly be challenging for traditional institutions to facilitate.
I would think so.
However, the logic behind the 90-day sprint is rooted in the new economic reality we discussed earlier. If the traditional corporate ladder is missing its bottom rungs, you can no longer teach students to be good employees who just wait to be hired.
Because there's no one hiring for those roles.
Right. You have to teach them to be immediate value creators. The 90-day program isn't about writing a theoretical business plan. It's about utilizing AI and XR tools to instantly prototype, test, and sell a service.
So instead of spending a semester writing a thesis on market dynamics that a professor grades and files away in a drawer somewhere, you build a digital product, put it on their global marketplace, and the market grades you with actual revenue.
That is the core paradigm shift. It transforms the university from an isolated ivory tower where you just learn about the world into an active engine where you participate in the economy from day one.
That's fascinating.
By lowering the barrier to entry for entrepreneurship, they are trying to insulate students from corporate hiring freezes. If nobody will hire you because AI took the entry-level jobs, Well, you have to be equipped to hire yourself.
We've covered an incredible amount of ground today unpacking these Eon AI Ventures sources.
We really have.
We started by staring down the sheer cliff face of the AI avalanche, the economic reality of frictionless software deployment that makes 75% of white-collar tasks automatable and threatens to wipe out 50% of entry-level jobs in just 5 years.
The hard facts.
Yep. We looked at how Gen Z is actively shifting priorities, demanding automation-resistant careers, and the existential threat this poses to universities still selling maps to a bulldozed city.
And from there, we examine the mechanics of the proposed solution.
We dove into the Eon career compass, mapping the pivot toward those deeply physical, interpersonal, and creative safe harbors. And finally, we explored how the profound transition from passive textbook learning to immersive 3D experiential training with Eon Genesis and that really ambitious attempt to bypass the broken corporate ladder entirely through rapid 90-day entrepreneurship sprints.
It's a very aggressive roadmap aimed at entirely rewiring the social contract of higher education in response to a permanent market disruption.
And to you, listening to this deep dive right now, I want to challenge you to evaluate your own daily professional landscape. Where do your specific tasks fall on that AI exposure spectrum?
It's an important question to ask yourself.
It really is. Are you spending the majority of your week doing complex analytical reporting, data synthesis, or screen-based processing that a language model could realistically master with zero marginal cost? And so, what does your personal career compass need to look like? How can you pivot your own skill set toward the physical, the interpersonal, or the creative?
And that evaluation leads to a deeply philosophical thread that isn't explicitly answered in the white paper, but it naturally emerges from all this data.
Oh, what's that?
Well, think about it. If this economic life raft operates exactly as intended, if it successfully moves the entire next generation of workers out of isolated, analytical, screen-based cubicle jobs and exclusively into fields requiring intense human interaction, deep emotional judgment, and physical community presence,
Yeah.
will the AI revolution inadvertently force our society to become more human?
Wow. Think about the irony of that for a second. We've spent decades building this massive technological ship, terrified that the machines were going to isolate us and take our humanity.
Exactly.
But maybe, as the ocean of traditional cognitive labor dries up, we realize we are being forced to navigate an entirely new landscape. A landscape where the absolute most valuable currency you can possess isn't how efficiently you process data, but how deeply and genuinely you connect with the physical world and the people in it.
It's a powerful thought to leave on.
It really is. Thanks for taking the deep dive with us. We'll see you next time.